This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so we continue over here with Perek Chelek Dalit, Avodas Hashem, serving Hashem, and Torah study, and we're up to Ot Gimel, paragraph 3. And he said that every mitzvah brings about this connection, but Torah study has the greatest means of making this connection, both when we say the words and in our understanding. And that is this segula, this power, this essence that is packed into this, that it enables us to have this shefa, this influence of the greatest of the influences, as we say, Talmud Torah keneged kulam. The mitzvah of Torah is equal to all the other mitzvot in terms of the potency, the power that it has. V'hinei pashut, and it is clear, it is simple. Shekol ma shetit'aleh haskala, the greater, the higher level of a person's understanding, tigdal yoter madregat hashpa'ah, shetimashech al yada. So commensurate to that, there will be this increase in the level of this influence that will be pulled down from that mitzvah onto the person. Below Yishve Mishi Yaskil Lashon Mikraot Levad, in Mishi Yaskil Kavanatam. We cannot equate one who understands the simple reading of the words to one who understands the kavanah, the intent, the deeper meanings. Below Mishi Yaskil Kavanah Hashitchit, and not one who understands the superficial meanings. Shebehem in Mishim Ma'ya Mikbem Yoter, and one who has an even deeper understanding. Below Mishia Mikbem Ktsat and Mishia Mikbem Habe, right? And someone who goes to a certain level of depth cannot be compared to one who goes to a greater level of depth. Amnam, however, however, part of God's kindness, God's chesed, was shebechol chelek min haskala, whatever level of understanding, timashech madrega min hashpa'ah, that will have an effect. Meaning, it's not that you've got to get to level X of understanding in order to get any hashpa'ah. No, any understanding whatsoever will bring a certain degree of this loftiest of the hashpa'ot. Ad shekol mi she'eskil ba yarviach min hashpa'ah gdola. Anyone who has any understanding will gain from this hashpa'ah gdola hazos, this greatest of hashpa'ah, mashen nishkar paskalahi, according to that which is connected to this level of understanding. Umi shelo higia l'shum haskala, and someone who has no understanding, ela lehi gayon levad, but the person has uttered them, has said those words, kavar yiyeh emtsai lo l'sheyichulach gam lo ktsat min hashpa'ah hazot. Even that will serve as an emtsai, as a means that person will be yichulak, apportioned, ktsat, a bit of this loftiest of hashpah, of influences. So the result is rubam shel Yisroel zochim la. The majority of Israel has read at least one pasuk at one point in their life. Mi ma'at umi yoter, some less and some more. I think it was in a different class. If it was in this class that I shared the following story, so you could cut me short. But I think it was the B'dishaver, the Ohev Yisroel, that someone came to him and said, we say in the Shema that if you do the mitzvah, God will send the blessing, and if you don't, Vatsarat Hashamayim, God will withhold the heavens. Well, let me tell you, Rabbi, I don't do the mitzvot, and God has opened up the heavens to me, and I've got so many brachot. It contradicts the Shema. So he said to him, "You're quoting from the Shema?" So he said, "Yeah, I'm quoting from Shema. That's a good source." So he said, "That means you've said the Shema?" He said, "Yeah, of course I've said the Shema." So he said, "You said the Shema even one time in your life. the riches and the treasures and the benefits and the good that flows from the heaven from that, it's more than this world could ever supply.
Yep.
That's the Rubam Shel Yisroel. The vast majority of Israel has said one pasuk one time in their life. So much of the modern, not so much, but much of the modern music in Israel, the Amami music, has psukim, right? Adam ki ish Eitz Hasadeh. There are so many of these classic Hebrew Israeli songs that incorporate a pasuk at some point along the way. Okay,
Yep.
Dalet. V'amnam. Zulat zot hadraka hanimseit ligmul hishtadlut b'nei adam ba keshiuro ha'amiti. Right? There is this idea of gumul, of compensation, reward, for hishtadlut b'nei adam ba, for the amount of effort, the hishtadlut,
Endeavor,
the efforts that a person puts into it. Keshiuro ha'amiti, according to the true heaven measured level amount of that effort. Od nimsa b'hadraga v'chiluk l'fi ma shetzarich l'takein ba'klal habriya. There's another aspect here of that which is needed for the tikkun, for the perfecting or the rectifying of the klal habriya, the creation as a whole. Ad she'ein chelek mimenu shelo yitukan al yedo v'yushlam chelek mechalkei klal habriya. So there is no part of this bria, of this creation, that is not rectified, that is not elevated by a part of this Torah. So every part of Torah has an effect on some part of the world. So when a person is saying that pasuk, he or she is not only bringing about this ashpa for themselves personally, but it is for the entire world. V'nimsa sha'rotza la'avod lifnei baro avoda shleima. So therefore, a person who wants to serve Hashem in a avodah shleima, in a complete manner, sarach sheyasok b'chol chalakeh. He or she should be involved in all of the parts of the Torah, kefi yechalto, according to that person's God-given abilities. Kedei sheyagia mimeno atikun el chalkei habriya kula, and that way there will come mimenu, from him, tikkun, a certain amount of elevation, rectification, perfection, to chelkei habriya kula, to the entire bria. It's interesting. So there is a worldwide idea of daf yomi. Daf yomi is, you take one page of the Talmud, and everyone is learning the same page of the Talmud every day. And over the course of 7+ years, we complete the entire Talmud, and then we start again. And there are many people, in yeshivas, this is not something that is done, because in yeshiva, you're learning how to learn and how to get a deeper understanding and getting, right, as opposed to this quick daf a day. But for many, many, many people who did not have a yeshiva, and even those who did have yeshiva, I also do daf yomi now. I'm not learning yeshiva now. I want to keep up with that. So many, many people do it. And it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. And a person, wherever you're traveling, you could walk into a shul and catch a daf yomi shir on the same daf. Years ago, when I was flying from Israel back to the States, so I took out my Gemara, and the person across the aisle took out his Gemara. We looked at each other, we nodded, we were learning the same daf, and we became chavrutas. We learned together on that plane ride. So it's a beautiful, beautiful thing that we have, that Klal Yisrael has, that the Jewish people have going on. But sometimes people ask, yeah, but the people who never really learned and they're doing a daf a day, how much will they know? How much will they remember? And I think what we're saying over here is a bit of a response to that. It gives them a chelek, it gives them a portion in this part of Torah. And every part of Torah is connected to a part of the world. Like this, they've gone through the entire Shas, the entire Talmud Bavli. That is incredible. It gives them incredible hashpah and incredible chelek, a portion in this correction that comes to the world. Val Derech Hashem, Uzi, we have a bit of bounce back if you can until you.
Okay, sorry, I shall mute.
Thank you, Uzi. Val Derech Hashem Amru Chachamenu Zichron Levracha, and on this path, on this idea, the sages taught, La'olam Yishalesh Adam Yamav, a person should split up his days. Shlish Bamikra, Shlish Bamishnah, Shlish B'Gemara. A third learning Mikra, the readings, Tanakh. A third, a person is learning Mishnah. And Shlish, and a third, a person is learning Gemara, is learning the Gemara, the Talmud, right? And the Gemara says, well, who knows how long you're going to live to divide it properly into thirds? So the Gemara says, no, you should split your days. And the Tosfot there in Kedushin says that one of the reasons that the Gemara that we study, the Talmud Bavli, so we translate it as the Babylonian Talmud from Bavel. That's why it's Talmud Bavli, from Bavel, from Babylon. But another reason it's called that, he says, is because there is this mixture that you have in there, Psukim, you have Mishnah, and you have Gemara. So by learning Talmud Bavli, Tosfot says, one really does fulfill and incorporates all these three components of the Torah learning that a person should be doing. There was a great story when I was in Ner Yisroel, learning in Ner Yisroel, that a complaint against guys in yeshiva is often that they don't learn Navi at all, right? They hardly learn Chumash, they don't learn Navi, they're learning Gemara all the time. So it was at one of these big meetings, and there was a Rosh Yeshiva there who was talking to a group of boys and blasting them that they don't know Navi. And he quotes a pasuk, and he says, where is this pasuk found? And as he's saying that, Rav Ruderman Zatzal, the Rosh Yeshiva Yisroel, is walking by. So he answers, it's found on Yavamas Daf Pei Gimel Amid Beis. He quoted the place in the Babylonian Talmud where that pasuk was mentioned, was quoted, and was discussed. Right? So I'm not saying one shouldn't learn Navi. And thanks to the prodding of one of my students, I've actually started doing a Navi Yomi, a parak of Navi a day. And it's fantastic. I recently finished Yeshayahu, and I'm holding in the middle of Yirmiyahu. So it's a great thing to do. But the Talmud Bavli does incorporate all of this. That a person should split their time between these different parts of Torah learning. Until the person gets a hold on all of them. Don't leave any of them without yaniach yado, without taking hold, without grasping that. However, shiur ha'esek sheyasok b'chol echad mehem, the amount of asek, the amount of endeavor, of time, of dealings that a person should put into each of them, ra'ui shimadei lefi mashu adam, right? That should be according to what the person's nature is, what the person does best with, or lefi kol hamikrim hakorim oto, and according to one's situation. Right? Right. Some people have more time, some people have less time, some people have more acumen, some people have less acumen. Everyone's got to do according to what they're able to do. Okay. Hey, number 5. The conditions that need to accompany this Talmud, in this study, in order to have the effect that we've been discussing, Hinehem, they are hayirah b'talmud atzmo, the awe, the respect, the reverence for the learning itself. V'tikun ha'ma'aseh b'chol eight, and that the learning should lead to one improving their actions, to becoming a greater Jew, a greater human being. It should lead to tikkun ha'maaseh, that it's not just this intellectual pursuit, but one understands that one is studying the words, the teachings of God, whether it's the teachings that we received in the written Torah or that which we received from the oral teachings given to Moshe and passed down to us, and that our goal is that this should serve to elevate us, to make us better. And this is
Rabbi,
called
Rabbi,
Kocha Shel HaTorah, Eina Ela B'ma Kashar V'Tala Yitbarach Et Hashpato Yikara Ba. The whole
Rabbi,
power of Torah is that God connected and hinged his precious hashpa'ah, this incredible influence of God, that God connected it to this. Ad
Rabbi,
sha'idei dibur ba, that through saying the words, v'haskala, and understanding, timashech hashpa'ah hagdolahi, one will pull onto themselves, extend onto themselves this incredible hashpa'ah. Ach zulat zeh, were it not for this connection that God forged, that God made, this pipeline that God opened up, lo dibur ba'el kedibur b'shara sakim. Discussing Torah would not be any different than discussing the stock market, or any book of wisdom, right? Ben Franklin's Old Man's Almanac, right? Or any other book of wisdom. B'chol sha'ar muskalot, in any of the other areas, hamitziot hativi l'mineihem, that is found in all this incredible teva of the world, nature. What does one gain from that? One gains knowledge of that topic. It does not bring about a strengthening and uplifting, a precious flow into the soul of the reader. Hamidaber, the one who utters it. V'hamaskil, and one who understands it. V'lo tikun l'chlal habriya, and it doesn't bring about any rectification, any elevation, any perfection to the entire world. The amnam, but I would say that if a person learns some science, be it biology, be it physics, be it about the world, and a person walks away with a sense of ma rabu ma'asecha Hashem, how incredibly wondrous are your works, Hashem, then that also could be considered to a degree a Torah study, because one is using the physical world, right? Right. I think it's a pasuk, Habet Hashemayim Moreh, right? Look up to the heavens and see mi bara Ela, who created all of this. So if a person's David Melech said mi besarai echezeh Elokim, from my own flesh, the wonders of my own body, echezeh Elokim, I see Elokim. Right? So one can use all of this as a means of elevation, but it's not the same as the study of Torah itself.
there was a question by Dalit, I believe.
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah, Rabbi, I wanted to see what you would say to this man. I was talking to a man who's Jewish, but he's not religious. And I said to him, I said, well, do you believe that the Torah is inspired by Hashem? And he said, no, I don't believe that. And he said that he likes to draw on, he likes Kabbalah, he likes things out of Christianity, and he likes things out of Buddhism. He said, I select between those things, what I like. And I said, well, Kabbalah is based on the Torah. And he said, no, it's not. And I drew a little bit of a blank on how to really validate that.
Okay. So Kabbalah actually, we define it as mysticism, but Kabbalah comes from the word lekabel, right? To receive,
To receive,
right?
yes.
So it is teachings that were received. The Torah itself it's called Pardes. That's the Rashi Tevot, the lettering for Pshat, Remez, Drash, and Sod. Pshat is the simple meaning, Remez, that which is hidden, that which is hinted, Drash, that which can be expounded, and Sod are the secrets beneath it. So all of the Kabbalah, all of the true Kabbalah, all of the Jewish Kabbalah, right, and other mystical thinkings might have gotten some of it right and might got some of it wrong, but it all is based on the Torah, but not the simple reading of the Torah, right? It's not, if a person takes out a Hebrew English Chumash Torah, they're not going to come across the Kabbalistic concepts. There is much that is contained there when we probe a little bit deeper, but and there's some that exists only on a completely different level. In last week's parsha, it's an amazing thing. I'll just share it with you. Right? The pasuk said the simple meaning is if the courts have a din that they are unsure about and they don't know, so what do you have to do? You have to go up to the Beit Din and ask them over there. So it says over there, Ki yipalei mincha davar, if something is hidden from you. Lemishpat, about judgment. This is in Shoftim Perek Yud Zayin Pasuk Chet. Bein dam lidam, whether it's dam lidam, blood and blood, like a capital case. Bein din lidin, or it's a law and a law, a monetary
Civil.
case. Bein nega lenega, whether it is a nega, an affliction case, whatever it is. What should you do? Divrei rivo b'sharecha. There is a dispute in your cities. V'kam tavalita. Go up to the place that Hashem will choose. Go to the Sanhedrin, and they will take care of it. That's a simple meaning. I don't learn the Arizal, but I heard in the name, the Arizal says as follows. The Zohar says that there was a time the angels came before Hashem and complained. And this is at the time of the Chorban. And certainly for us in the post-Holocaust world, we could apply this also to the Holocaust. And they said, Hashem, we're told that when we slaughter an oaf, a bird, we have to cover the blood. And your children have been slaughtered and the blood's not getting covered. That's how much they're getting slaughtered. We're taught that you can't slaughter a mother and a mother animal and its child on the same day. And look at your people, they're getting slaughtered on this very, very same day. We're taught that when a house has the signs of tzara'at, before the Kohen comes to declare it, so all the content should be taken out, lest he declares it as tamei, impure, and that will cause a loss for all of those contents in the house. And look how the property of your children is being trampled. And Hashem's answer is, if there is no shalom between them, then, you'll pardon me, all heck breaks loose. If there's not shalom between us, that's the medrash. So the Arizal says that's the pasuk. Ki yipalei mincha davar lemishpat. When it's hidden from you, you can't understand the judgment. Bein dam ledam, between the blood and the blood, between the blood of the chicken that gets covered and the blood of the Jewish people by the Chorban of the Holocaust that didn't get covered. Bein din ledin, between the judgment, the law of not slaughtering a mother animal and its child on the same day, and us. Bein nega lenega, between the nega, the plague that's in that house, and the way we're being affected. You should know, why is that? Divrei rivot bisharecha, because there's argument, because there's discord in your gates, because you're not unified. And what do you have to do? You've got to rise up together and go to Jerusalem. Jerusalem is the place where we can have that complete ava, that complete shalom that can exist between us. So that's a little example of not that I know more than that, but that's just like, the scrape of the depth of all the Kabbalah that is found, that is all based in the Torah. And there's a famous story that one's a joke, one's a story. A true story is that a person went to one of these Maharajis in India, right? And he starts to talk to him, right? And it came out that the Maharaji says, "So you're Jewish?" So he said, "Yeah." So he said to him, "Don't come here to study. Go to Jerusalem to study. That's the source of any of the wisdom that we have." That's I forget which person ended up going to Jerusalem, became one of the rabbis there in Jerusalem, right? But that's a famous Maharaji story. And the joke that they tell is that Mrs. Goldberg decided that she's going to leave Borough Park. She needs to go to India. She needs to go speak to the Maharaji. Everyone thinks she's crazy, but she's got to go. She's got to go. So she leaves Borough Park, right? Flies, gets there. She comes to the area there. She tells the attendant, "I need to speak to Maharaji." "No, people wait for months. You have to fast. I need to. I just need 3 words to say to him." All right, he's fine. Say, okay, you can go in. She walks into the presence of the great Maharaji and she says, "Chaim, come home."
There's one
That's
thing I
where it
want
comes from, Dalit.
Yeah.
That's our understanding of where it all comes from. Yeah.
I just want to say something to Dalit to be careful about the fact that the guy claimed he was Jewish, because we have two things in Judaism other than nationality, meaning being part of the people of the Jews, and being Jewish as as a God-fearing person. And often you'll find people who were born to a Jewish mother, but inside their heart they're part of the nation, but they're not really. And that's something that you always have to be careful about.
Yeah, but look, if the person's born to a Jewish mother, the person is Jewish, but unfortunately, many people are very alienated from that. So if you could help to bring him back, Dalit, that would be a wonderful thing.
We pay money for that.
Yeah.
You can
Let's
make money, Dalit.
This influence is a godly thing. But not only this, but this influence of the Torah is loftier, v'niskav, and higher. That is the greatest influence and flow that God put into the world that can come of godliness to us human beings. The Kavan Shekain, since that's the case, a person needs to be in awe and in trembling, reverence and awe. When he's touching this gold mine, the person is drawing close before his God, and is dealing and is dealing with pulling God's glory, God's light upon oneself. And one needs to feel shame of his lowly humanness. V'yirash, and tremble from God's exaltedness. And to rejoice for his incredible chelik, his incredible portion, that he merited this. But certainly with also this awe and this reverence. Not sitting there in a light-headed, scoffing manner. and not to act in any disrespectful manner. Lo bidvareha, not of its words, v'lo bisfareha, nor of its books. V'yedal lifnei mi omed mitasek, and to recognize before whom one is standing and dealing with this Torah. V'ma'osa came, and if one does that, az yet talmido masharoi lo liot be'emet, that will enable his study or her study to be that which it has the true capacity to be, that which it truly is. V'timashech al yado hashbar shezacharnu, and that will bring that influence that we discussed. V'yitatsein bo, and there will become incorporated into that person hayikar eloki, this godly exaltedness. V'yimashech tikun v'hara, and there will be pulled this rectification and this illumination l'kol habriya, to the entire creation. Aval imtanai zeh yechsar mimenu, but if this condition is lacking, in the absence of this, if a person is not taking it seriously, a person is scoffing, a person is finding cause for ridicule based on their own misunderstanding, lo timashech ha'ara al yado, then this illumination will not be pulled. V'lo yeh dvarav l'kashar kol divrei enoshim, the words will be like any other words, any other human words that are spoken. Hegyono, he's uttering it, kikorei igaret, like reading a letter. Umachshavotav, and his thoughts, kichoshev b'divrei olam, like thoughts about earthly, worldly matters. V'adarabba, not only won't it have that profound effect, adrabba, but on the contrary, la'ashma techashev lo, it will be considered a serious misstep. Shekarav el hakodesh, b'li mora, that you came so close to that which is so holy without a sense of reverence, without the proper respect. Umekel rosho, you're acting in a lightheaded manner. Lifnei baro, right in front of your Creator. Odo midaber lefanav, while you're speaking in front of Him. Umitasek, and you're dealing b'kedushato yitbarach, with His blessed holiness. That's when you're acting with a mekel rosho. That's when you're acting bekalut rosh, with a lightheaded silliness. It's a lot worse. Not only won't it have all the power, but you're there in front of the Aron Kodesh, and that's where you act like that. V'ulam, once again, it all goes according to the levels. Kafi madregat hamora, according to the level of this awe and respect. V'shiur hakavod, and the degree of the honor. V'hazihirut bo, and the degree of carefulness that one has in being sure to grant the proper honor, the deserving kavod. Keni yeshir yakar halimud. So too, commensurate to that, will be the amount of yakar halimud, of the influence of that study, umadrigat hashpa'ah nimshechet al yado, and the degree of the influence that will then flow and affect the person and uplift the person through that. Okay, my friends, mincha's at 6:45, so our mincha people are all starting to sign on. So I need to sign off over here and go run over to the upstairs minyan where we're having our minyan this evening. Okay, so next week we'll start earlier. We'll start at 5:45. And
all right.
thank you all. Good learning,
Thank
everybody.
you, Rabbi. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Take
You're
care.
very welcome.
Bye, guys. Bye, everyone.
Okay, Adina and Mark, I need to leave, and I will set it up upstairs if it won't be set up when I get there.
Great.
When I
Thank
leave,
Okay.
it might
No
affect
problem.
you guys. I'm not sure. I
Thanks.
apologize.
Okay.
Okay.